They say family is everything, but what happens when the people closest to you become the ones who break you the most? My name is Angela Reed. I was living a quiet, successful life in New York until a single phone call shattered it all. In the blink of an eye, I went from coding software in Brooklyn to holding together a broken home in Scranton. But here's the thing. When you give everything to your family and they treat you like nothing, something inside you changes. This isn't just a story about betrayal, it's about control, revenge, and learning when to stop saving people who never planned to save you. Angela Reed's life in Brooklyn looked like something out of a magazine. At 27, she was a rising software engineer at a trendy startup, her days filled with creative brainstorming sessions and clean, minimalist code. Colleagues respected her, clients admired her composure. When the workday ended, she returned to a quiet, carefully curated apartment, tiny but tidy, with warm lights, potted plants, and jazz humming softly through a Bluetooth speaker. A glass of red wine in hand, she felt in control. It was the kind of life she'd built from scratch, and she guarded it fiercely. That illusion of stability shattered on a Tuesday night. Her phone rang, and the voice on the other end wasn't the calm version of her father she remembered. "Sweetheart, I lost everything," Greg Reed muttered, barely audible. The background buzzed with the familiar hum of their old kitchen fan, and his voice cracked between heavy breaths. Then came her mother's voice, sharp and strained. "Angela, your father's spiraling. Can you come home for a while, just until we figure this out?" Angela stared at her muted laptop screen, then out the window into the Brooklyn skyline. She hesitated, her fingers trembling over the keyboard. She'd worked so hard to leave Scranton behind, but family wasn't something you could mute. That night, she packed quietly, boarded the night train, and disappeared from the city she had grown into. Scranton hadn't changed. The peeling paint, the dim porch light, the same uneven sidewalk that led to her childhood home. Her parents greeted her at the door with tired smiles. Lauren, her 25-year-old sister, slouched in sweats, barely glanced up from her phone. "Hey," she muttered, stifling a yawn. Inside, the house felt even smaller than she remembered. At dinner, Lauren ordered takeout pizza, basking in compliments about her great taste. Angela managed a polite smile while her eyes scanned the room. Everything felt off. Later that night, as she unpacked, Lauren leaned against the doorframe. "You don't mind taking the small room, right? I'm used to the big one now." Maggie chimed in from the hallway. "Just let her be comfortable, honey. It's not a big deal." Angela said nothing, but something cold began to settle in her chest. She was back, but she no longer belonged. Mornings in Scranton were colder than Angela remembered, not just in temperature but in spirit. Gone were her serene Brooklyn mornings. Here, the alarm blared at 6 a.m. She shuffled out of bed to make breakfast for the family, wiped down the counters, sorted the mail, and prepped her father's medication schedule before logging into work remotely. She handled the taxes, the leaky faucet in the bathroom, and the endless calls from creditors. All while Lauren lounged around the house in oversized hoodies, posting stay-home vibes selfies to her Instagram. Each day blurred into the next, her to-do list never ending. No one offered help, no one even asked if she was okay. Then, during a quiet evening as the family watched TV, her mother casually suggested, "Maybe pork steaks for dinner tomorrow." Angela blinked. "I don't think we can afford that right now," she replied, her voice careful. "Groceries are getting expensive. Maybe we can plan around what we already have?" Lauren rolled her eyes. "You're not giving us enough money for food, big sis." Angela looked up, stunned. "I send you $8,000 a month. That should cover everything." Lauren shrugged. "Have you seen prices lately? It's not enough. Try $11,000. Maggie added without hesitation, "She's trying her best. She does manage things around the house, Angela." Angela bit her tongue. What exactly did Lauren manage? She hadn't cooked a meal, paid a bill, or lifted a finger for anyone but herself. That night, the walls of her childhood home began to feel less like shelter and more like a trap. Trying to keep her composure, Angela offered a solution. "If money's tight, maybe we should move in with Grandma. Her place in Little Italy has free food, and she's always said we could work at the restaurant." Her mother scoffed. "You know how strict she is. I'm not going back there." Greg muttered, "Leaning on your mother is a sign of failure." Angela sat back, stunned. She wasn't just being used, she was being dismissed, invalidated by the very people she was holding up. The room spun with silence. In that moment, something inside her began to shift, quietly but irreversibly. A week had passed. Lauren hadn't come home, and no one seemed concerned, except Angela. Over dinner, she finally asked, "Where is Lauren?" Her mother barely looked up from her plate. "She won a trip to Hawaii," she said breezily. "She needed a break. That girl's been under so much stress." Angela blinked. "A trip? Who paid for that?" Her mother shrugged. "She's always been lucky. She enters all those little sweepstakes, you know." Angela didn't buy it. Something felt off. But she kept her thoughts to herself until a phone call the next morning shattered her restraint. She was mid-meeting typing notes on a project report when her phone rang. It was her bank. "Ma'am, we're calling to verify recent activity on your credit card. There have been transactions totaling approximately $185,000 over the past 5 days, all originating from Honolulu, Hawaii." Angela froze. The coffee mug slipped from her hand and shattered on the floor. The background of her screen blurred as the sound faded into a high-pitched ring. Her heart pounded in her throat. She stepped outside, trembling, and immediately called Lauren. Her sister picked up with a laugh. "Oh, hey! Didn't think you'd notice so soon." Angela gripped the phone tighter. "What did you do?" Lauren, completely unbothered, replied, "Relax. I borrowed your card for the trip. It was about to expire anyway, and you weren't using it. I figured it'd be a waste." "You spent almost 200 grand, Angela whispered, voice cracking. Lauren chuckled. "Come on, don't be dramatic. You're always so tight with money. But family's family, right? We share things." Angela didn't respond. She couldn't. Her eyes burned, but no tears came. Something deeper than anger rose in her chest. Betrayal. As Lauren rattled on about beaches and spa treatments, Angela stood silent. Her fingers slowly lowered the phone from her ear. In that moment, something inside her broke. Not loudly, not violently, but completely. This wasn't about money, it was about value, and for the first time, Angela realized she had none in their eyes. When Lauren returned to the house, tanned, glowing, and smug, Angela didn't waste time. "You used my card without permission. You spent a fortune. Doesn't anyone in this house find that outrageous?" Her mother scoffed, waving it off. "She needed a break. You don't understand how hard it's been for her." Greg chimed in from behind his newspaper. "You're the older sister. Try to be more generous." Angela stood in the living room, speechless. Their casual dismissal pierced deeper than any argument. They didn't see her struggle. They didn't care. Later that night, Angela retreated to her room and opened her phone. She played the voicemail Lauren had accidentally left, one filled with venom. "Angela is so damn cheap. And Mom and Dad, useless. Their cards are maxed out too. This family is pathetic." She walked back downstairs, calm as ice, and hit play. The audio echoed through the living room. Silence fell. Her father paled. He rushed to his study, yanked open a drawer, and flipped through documents. "She emptied my account," he muttered. Her mother dropped into a chair, dazed. "She took our savings, even the bank book." Angela said nothing. No gloating, no rage, just silence. Then she turned and walked upstairs. Alone, in the dim light of her room, she opened her drawer and pulled out an old credit card. Lauren's, never activated. She logged in. Still functional. She booked flights, hotel suites, luxury add-ons, all under Lauren's name. With each click, her face remained still, almost serene. "Confirm booking." The screen glowed blue. Angela stared at it for a beat, then pressed. The next morning, she handed her mother an envelope. "Lauren should enjoy the rest of her vacation properly. I booked another week for her, first class." Her parents looked touched. "Thank you, sweetie," her mum said. "That's so kind of you." They had no idea. As they packed their bags again, Angela called Jason Park. "It's time," she said. "Sell the house, discreetly." By nightfall, she had packed their belongings, moved valuables to storage, and signed the transfer papers. This time, Angela didn't cry. She didn't yell. She simply disappeared into action. For the first time in years, she wasn't surviving. She was planning. The taxi pulled into the driveway just as the sun dipped below the horizon. Lauren stepped out first, followed by Greg and Maggie, all laughing, tan and carefree. Suitcases rolled across the cracked pavement. The seafood in Waikiki was unreal, Maggie beamed. That sunset cruise, God, I could live there, Greg added. Lauren, digging through her bag, giggled. I brought souvenirs but left them on the plane. Whoops. Their joy evaporated the moment they turned toward the house. Angela stood motionless on the porch, arms crossed, a manila folder clutched in one hand. Behind her, a crisp white sign staked into the lawn, for sale, sold. Lauren's smile faded. This is a joke, right? Angela didn't blink. No, I sold the house. Greg's voice rose, defensive. That's impossible. This house is in my name. Angela calmly opened the folder, pulled out a document and handed it to him. Not anymore. You signed it over to me 2 years ago in exchange for covering your back taxes. Remember? He scanned the papers, his hands trembling. Maggie's mouth hung open. Lauren just stood still, eyes darting between them. Angela took a step back. Don't worry, I've made arrangements. A van's waiting. You're moving today. No one argued. No one had the words. The camera would have caught 3 stunned silhouettes boarding the moving van, the house shrinking in the rear view like a chapter finally closing. The van stopped in front of a modest pizza shop in Manhattan's Little Italy. The neon sign flickered. Romano's Pizza. The door swung open and out came Carmela Romano, Angela's grandmother, dressed in a flour-dusted apron, her face equal parts steel and fire. About time, she said, not missing a beat. Inside. Oven's not hot enough yet. And just like that, the Reed family began a new life. No bedrooms with queen-sized beds, no housekeepers, no allowances, just heat, dough, orders, and grease. The attic served as their new bedroom, the pizza shop their reality. No one had a say anymore. The only thing they had left was the work in front of them. And maybe, just maybe, a second chance buried somewhere between the flour and fire. Morning sunlight streamed through Angela's new apartment in Williamsburg. She stood barefoot on the balcony, watering her herbs. It was quiet, peaceful. The life she had once imagined in her mind had finally become real. Her laptop chimed in the background, emails piling in from a remote client. She brewed coffee, let jazz hum softly in the kitchen, and took a breath that felt like freedom. Her phone rang. The name made her pause. Grandma Carmela. Greg knows how to scrub pans now, her voice crackled through the line. Lauren's got strong arms, she kneads dough like a pro. They're changing, Angela, I can see it. Later that week, another number appeared on her screen, one she didn't recognize. She hesitated before answering. Angela? Lauren's voice was small, fragile. I don't expect anything, but can we meet? I need to apologize. For real. Angela sat in silence, heart pounding. Then quietly she said, okay. They met at Cafe Verona, tucked away off a busy Manhattan street. Lauren arrived early, wearing a grease-stained kitchen uniform, her hair pulled back, no makeup, her cheeks sunken, but eyes clear. She sat down, hands trembling, and looked her sister in the eye. I get it now, she whispered. Working under Grandma. It's hell. But it taught me something. You've been carrying us this whole time, and I never saw it. Tears slipped down her face as she slid an envelope across the table. This is everything I've saved. From tips, from hours on the floor. It's not much, but I'm gonna pay you back, every dollar. Angela didn't speak. She just stood, leaned forward, and pulled Lauren into a quiet, tearful hug. For the first time, the walls between them cracked open, just wide enough for healing to slip through. That weekend, Angela visited Romano's. The place bustled with orders. Greg spun pizza dough, Maggie wiped tables, Lauren boxed slices behind the counter. They looked up when she entered and smiled. Carmela stepped beside her. You've grown strong, my girl, she said. But more important, you never lost your heart. That's what matters most. Sometimes the deepest wounds aren't the ones we see. They're the ones left by silence, by love unreturned, by roles we were forced to play. But healing doesn't always come with loud apologies or perfect endings. Sometimes it starts quietly, with truth, with distance, with choosing yourself, and in that space, forgiveness becomes possible, not for them, but for your own peace. If this story stirred something in you, let us know in the comments. Don't forget to follow and subscribe for more stories that speak to the heart and remind us that even the most broken bonds can lead to powerful beginnings.